I want to thank you for listening to this recording. We're talking about joint venture partners. Now, the difference between a joint venture partner and the previous video, private lenders. The private lenders are acting like a bank. They're lending usually 80% or less of loan to value. So a $100,000 house, you're going to be lending $80,000 maximum. And then they're going to be charging interest. Now, you can have some flexibility with that interest. You might have to pay interest only for every quarter or every 6 months. I really like the flexibility of private lending. But we're talking about joint venture partnering. And this is where basically somebody is being your credit partner. They're putting their credit line. If you have terrible credit, that's one way to do it. They're also bringing to the table some down payment money. And you guys are going to a bank and you're filling out an application and you're trying to get a loan. Your LLC is trying to borrow money. And that is a joint venture partner for cash and credit partners. Now, one of the ways that I really like to get capital for deals is talk to people that have a ton of money. And I mean a ton of money. Who do you know that has a ton of money? Well, doctors. And usually doctors don't know anything about real estate investing and they don't want to know. They want to do their craft and they want to have some fun. And that's it. They don't want to learn anything. So they depend on their advisors, their stockbrokers and their financial planners to be able to get success for them with their money. And a lot of times it's just mutual funds, stocks, bonds, the traditional stuff. So what I usually, try to talk to as many doctors as I can. And they're not at REIA groups. They're not at Real Estate Investor Association groups. They're not there. Where they are is where doctors are. Country clubs. They're there. Where else are doctors? At church. Think about wherever doctors are. Okay. So let's say that you find a doctor and you say, look, doc, I got a proposition for you. I try to buy properties really cheap, below wholesale, and then I need capital to be able to fix them and resell them for profit. And what I'm looking for is somebody that will help me with the capital, and that's all they do. They're a money partner. I'll go out and find a $100,000 property after it's fixed up. That's its value, but I can buy it for 40. And it needs 15 in work, so that's 65 we need total. Once we buy it and fix it, we're going to sell it for 100. There's going to be some costs, but we'll probably net 90,000. After you subtract the 65, that's our profit. And we split those profits. We can use your IRA money for that as a JV partner. So, would you like to put some money on Main Street as well as Wall Street? Because we can effectively give you a yield of approximately 20 to 30%. So we're putting the money in play for about 3 months and getting it all back plus profit in about 3 months. Would you be interested in something like that? And that's how we deal with joint venture partners with doctors. And it takes a while. You need a reputation and you need to talk it up. Talk it up. Remember on the previous video he said, I got this great job. Let me tell you about my job. I help people get a good rate of return on their money. Okay? Private lending. Well, it's the same thing, when you deal with the doctors is, doc, look, I got a proposition for you, and spit out the proposition. And if you have something quickly that you can send him, I use a lot of information on Dropbox, and I just send them the Dropbox link. And it talks about private lending deals, talks about some numbers, talks about some people that have faith in me as far as analyzing a deal and being honest and paying on time, that kind of thing, testimonials. And that is what helps you get JV partners. It's your word. The contracts don't matter. Your promises on paper doesn't matter. You got to shake somebody's hand and deliver. Because guess what? If somebody puts 65,000 out there and they get their 65 back, and then they get a profit of 15,000 on top of that within 3 months. Well, you know how to figure out what the rate of return is for them? Well, the ordinary investment that's 65, the percentage of profit is about 25%, right? And you're getting that 25% in 3 months instead of 12 months. So the annual rate of return is like 100%. Isn't that awesome? And if they do that 4 times a year, they're really doing super well. Okay? I hope this has given you some ideas as far as JVing with some wealthy people and having them be cash and credit partners for you. There's one other way that I want to talk about JV partners. And JV partners, I like to do with the seller on minor rehabs. Now write that down. A seller with minor rehabs. Well, let's say that we found a house that's $100,000 and basically it was grandma's house. They've been in there 40 years. Now they're very good about maintenance. They've been looking at the roof. The roof was replaced. The HVAC is replaced. Everything is in good shape. They replaced the windows. All that's fine, but guess what? The kitchen needs work. And there's something about kitchens. If mom got that kitchen back a long time ago, I mean a really long time ago, like in the 40 years ago, uh, she doesn't want to replace it. If that stove's working, she's going to call Sears and get the stove fixed. If the refrigerator has a problem, they're going to call Sears and get the refrigerator fixed, but they're not going to replace it, right? They're not going to replace it. They're going to keep it. Same thing with the bathrooms. If they have fixtures, like on the sink and in the tub, and it used to be shiny chrome and it's not shiny chrome anymore, but it still works, they're not going to replace it. So houses that need updating, I really like to do JV partner with the seller. Now, bear with me, and if you don't follow these numbers, that's fine. But if you had, let's say, a $200,000 house and it needed 10% to fix, like $20,000. Well, $20,000 isn't a small amount of money to get a house ready so that they can sell it for $200,000. Now, I like expired listings with dated houses, with houses that need updating. Let's use those numbers. $200,000 house needs 20. So you go 0.7 times 200, that's 140. And then you subtract the 20,000 in rehab, that's 120. And if it's wholesaling, they got to take a wholesaling fee out of that. Now, why would somebody discount their house that much if it needs 20,000 to work and sell it for 120? Wholesaling is only good for houses that need a huge amount of work. Let me tell you how I do the JV with the seller. It says, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, look, you tried selling it with an agent, it didn't work out. The millennials, the young people under 35, they do not want to be able to fix anything. If they see an outdated kitchen or a bathroom that looks kind of old, even if it's functional, they don't want the house. They'll go find a house that's perfect. So your choices are two. You can sell to an investor, and I show them on a piece of paper, 0.7 times ARV of 200,000 minus repairs. That's your offer. And you know what? We can call them. And I just pick up my phone and go We Buy Houses, their town, and say, look, call any of these guys, and they'll give you that low offer. But what I'm going to recommend is a way for you to make more money. And this is where we joint venture. This is where we partner up, and I bring my money and my crew in, and we fix this thing up quickly, usually within 6 weeks. And then we sell it as fast as we can, and we list it for 200,000. Here's the issue. You need to wait for your money a short period of time, a couple of months, and then you get your money. If you're willing to do that and give me a vacant house, I'll bring my crew in, fix it, resell it, and give you your money. I'll protect you by putting you'll create a first mortgage. This is a free and clear house, by the way. No mortgages on it. We'll create a first mortgage. and we will earn a joint venture fee when it sells. So in other words, we're partnering up. You sell the house to me on a private first mortgage, and I put your equity in a note, and that note is paid off in about 2 to 3 months. Are you interested in that? If you are interested in that, then let's put together a letter of intent to purchase the house with a joint venture agreement that says that I'm going to buy it from you, I'm going to give you a note for your equity, I'm going to fix it out of my own pocket, and then I'm going to resell it and pay off your note. And that's a JV with a seller. I love that, because let's do the numbers. Let me tell you how to figure out the numbers on a JV with a seller. Remember, $200,000, $20,000 in work. Now, the cost to sell a house is about 10%. Why is it 10% cost to sell? Well, we have 6% agent's commission for the listing and the buyer's agent. We have 2% closing costs generally, and we have 2% in wiggle room so that we can negotiate maybe seller's concessions or something else. All right. So 10%, so that's 20,000. 20,000 to fix. And then you got to get a JV fee. I like you to make a modest fee by supervising a rehab, and if you are a licensed agent, you can get the commission too. But let's say it's 10% for, $10,000 for a fee. So that's 20, 20, and 10. So that's 50,000. So you give them a note for 150. You use private lender money for the 20 to fix it, or joint venture. You don't want to do a joint venture on a get joint venture money. You want to get a private lender money, and then offer the private lender money. You know, I'll pay you off in 3 months. I'll give you 10% for the use of the money. They love that. It's not a lot of money to pay them 10% on 20,000. That's $2,000. And then, so you might want to put a note for them in first position for their equity of 150,000, and that's their note. That's in first position. Second position is your private lender, and you're going to give them 22,000, and then you're going to put a note on there in third position for 10,000. There you go. The seller's going to net 150 or 148 if you want to take off the 2,000. But the bottom line here is seller gets a note, gets paid off in full. They make a lot more money. Remember, before the wholesaling offer, 70% of ARV minus the repairs, that's 120. We're giving them about 145 to 148. Is that significantly better for the seller of the dated house that couldn't sell with an agent before? It's an expired listing. So this is why I love joint ventures with sellers. We generally, for minor rehabs, not a lot of work, but we can shine that house up like a new penny, make it look beautiful. And when you list a house for resale, you can put down new appliances with warranties for 12 months. Brand new. That's what people want. They don't want to step into a house. They don't mind if it's old. They care about the appliances. They care about the kitchens and the bathrooms more than anything. Okay? Even if the bedrooms are smaller. It's amazing what you can do if you fix up the kitchens and the bathrooms. All right, this is Brian Gibbons talking about joint ventures. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation about how to structure these JVs with credit partners, with down payment partners, and with home sellers that have dated houses. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.